And I've seen a lot of cops, I've seen a lot of lawyers pull out all the stops. I've seen a lot of children with their parents in their hands. I've felt a lot of women who refuse to understand. Well, I don't think I understand why we're making such a fuss. And I don't think I understand what's come of all of us. And I don't think I understand.
You guys hear me?
Why we take the world for granted. I just want to get right back to
Daniel?
Guitar Players Planet. See it in the papers
I can hear you.
every day. The riots and
I can hear you.
going on in South LA. The muggers and the government, they're all wanting the same thing. They take you for your money and whatever else bring. Well, I don't think I understand why we're making such a fuss. And I don't think
Yes,
I understand
I can
what's
hear
come
you.
of all
Can
of
you hear me?
us. And I don't think I understand why we take this
Eric,
world
it's
for
frozen.
granted. I just want to get right back to
Yeah, he's giving me the Pennywise stare. He's kind of freaking me out a little bit.
Take Me.
I gotta turn my fan on, at least low.
Well, I don't think I understand why we're making such a fuss. And I don't think I understand what's come of all of us. And I don't think I understand why we take this world for granted. I just want to get right back to Guitar Players Planet. 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 Sunny skies, the smell of palm tree air. Looking back, I could never feel fair. The way the music has touched my soul, the way that the South holds its control. But I've got a new way to choose. I'm gonna start running back for the land of new. Oh, na 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 na.
See, I get up old. Look what I do now. I screw it all up, right?
I've seen a lot of bankers, and I've seen a lot of cops. I've seen a lot of lawyers pull out all the stops. I've seen a lot of children with their parents in their hands. I felt a lot of women who refuse to understand. Well, I don't think I Guitar Players Planet. You see it in the news, you read it every day. The riots and the fire going on in South LA. The muggers and the government, they all want
There
to
we
do
go.
something. They take you for your money, whatever else bring. And I don't think I understand why we're making such a fuss. And I don't think I understand what's come of
I
all
need all the
of us.
sympathy I can get.
And I don't think I understand why we take the world for granted. I just want to get right back to Guitar Players Planet.
Yeah, this could be fun. I'm looking forward to this. Yeah, I was gonna say, is that- I just saw the weekend, right? Boy, you can tell us, man. We must
Well, I don't think I understand why we're making such a fuss. And I don't think I understand what's come of all of us. And I don't think I understand why we take this world for granted. I just want to get right back to Guitar Players Planet.
Oh, nice images. Look at those. Those are nice.
You sure?
Uh-huh.
I'm getting smarter with this.
Oh.
But anyway,
Huh?
I'm sorry. I was not on. I was not on live. But the reason why we're late is Eric. It's all Eric's fault. So he was messing around with the audio, and he's talking like this, like you know, like an ancient
like-
Chinese theater. He's like, and I'm like, I'm pressing buttons. I'm like, oh my god, everything's right. Everything's right. He's like, oh yeah, it was me. I'm muted.
Yeah.
So
It was like kung fu. It was like kung fu hustle.
totally. We were kung fu fighting.
Exactly.
Everybody wants kung fu.
Awesome.
So,
Awesome.
as you can
Nice.
tell, we have a
Years,
full
boys.
house. We have a full house.
Yes, sir.
tonight. First
On a
full
Friday.
house on a Friday. Oh my god! It's usually
Congratulations.
nice. It's nice. So tonight we got a special guest. We have Peter Myers on the bottom left from Woodland Hills, and Pete decided to don his Toronto Maple Leafs hat, and so I ran upstairs and I couldn't let the John Tavares thing die, so I had to get my Islanders jersey out. So welcome, Pete. Glad you can make it.
Yeah.
Good.
Absolutely.
They still have gone over John Tavares leaving, have they?
Oh man, that will never. Pajama Boy will never die. I don't know if you know. We call him Pajama Boy in New York, and I don't know. If you,
I was wondering. What was the
Yeah.
reason why they called him that? 'Cause I heard that as the nickname.
Yeah. So as soon as he screwed the Islanders and decided to hold off, so we couldn't trade him and get something for him, He signed on to the Maple Leafs. He said, no. You know what? I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. And sure enough, in the background, he was making plans to go to his hometown city of Toronto. That's where he's from. Right after that, he goes and posts on Twitter, Facebook, whatever, and there's a picture, and under it, it said it's something to the fact, I'm going to paraphrase a little bit, but it's something to the fact that it's not every day where you get to live out your dreams when you were a kid. And the picture was him in Toronto Maple Leafs pajamas in bed with Toronto Maple Leafs bed sheets and Toronto Maple Leafs everything all over the place. And he's just out like a light. He's like on the thing. And so now we call him Pajama Boy. So
one piece pajama suit, right?
Yeah. He had the feety thing going too.
Oh yeah, that's what you call getting majorly trolled.
Yeah. It was not cool at all. But
it's kind of interesting is that, you know, with college football now starting, and I know that this has always been a bone of contention for a long time as well, is that here it is, right? You're a student athlete. You get recruited by this coach. You're thinking that the coach now is going to be there for the 4 years that you're going to be there during your tenure, right? Next thing you know, he ends up getting a better offer somewhere else. And you're thinking, going, well, wait a minute, what's going on here? I mean, I signed up because I wanted to play with coach, whatever, and then now coach is gone. You know, but now it's interesting is that they've been able to get, because, you know, you look at the amount of money that these athletes bring into these schools, the academia.
Yeah. Oh, it's ridiculous.
It's incredible.
It really is.
Yeah. So I guess now they've got some type of a rule that they can use their likeness or their name now to endorse some commercial product, which I think is a great idea. Because you know that these schools have been paying these athletes, and SMU unfortunately got caught with their hand in the cookie jar when they got the death penalty. But you know, they know that they couldn't do a death penalty a second time because of what happened to SMU, and they've never really recovered.
Yeah. Yep. I kind of, you know, I think it was well long overdue. The whole, you know, endorsement opportunities for these student athletes. I mean, because they're getting, I mean, these schools are getting millions, you know, and these coaches are making millions. And what do the kids get? Well, yeah, they get an education, but then when you got, you know, when you have like, you know, NFL, you know, when you have video games, right? With the NCAA video games, you know, basketball or football, and you've got these kids with their numbers, you know, and even their likenesses and stuff like that, and they're not getting paid, and they're not able to get paid for this stuff because it was an NCAA violation. You know, so yeah, good for some of these kids, because, you know, sometimes some of these kids, they may not make it very far in the pros, if they even make it to the pros. So maybe try to get some of this now while they're, you know, college, you know, superstars.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. Hey.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's kind of funny, and that brings up a good point. Is that we sit there and we always think that we look at these college kids and we think, well, maybe these kids are just going to translate to being superstars in the pros. But I mean, take a look. We got Tim Tebow. He couldn't cut it. We got,
wasn't he on the Wheaties? He was the Wheaties guy, right?
Yeah, he was in the Wheaties.
Yeah.
And then,
you know,
and then the all-time bust was Ryan Leaf, right? I mean, Ryan Leaf was a quote they can't miss. And I mean, we know that he was a bust, but you're right. I mean, you know, some of these kids should definitely be able to get at least a little bit of money right now before they actually have to take a 9-to-5 job like the rest of us.
Exactly. So, especially when they have their likenesses, you know, like on NCAA 2K or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so yeah.
Hey,
you know, good for them.
Hey, sports is a wonderful
all
thing.
the Tom Brady's that are out there, how many just don't make it to that kind of superstar status?
Oh, not everybody messes with the balls either. So
no.
the deflate gate.
Yeah, that's right.
That guy.
Oh,
that
guy. You know what? You gotta say something. You got to give Brady credit. He leaves New England. He goes to Tampa Bay with one of his own players, just one. And what happens? He wins another ring.
Turns him into a Super Bowl contender and he wins it.
Oh my
Yeah.
God!
But
It's
but
crazy.
you know why? It's because one, he went to a team that had the coach that he could work with.
Yep.
He was also able to get, honestly, love him or hate him, he was able to get Antonio Brown either
Yep.
through all of the crap that he went through,
True.
bring him in and settle him down, and he was fantastic in the Super Bowl. So
He was.
and not to mention, they had a pretty good defense.
They did. They did. Actually, I think I picked them in my fantasy football for defense.
Yeah. So hey, but yeah, when you have the GOAT, man, come on. Sometimes it's the coach, sometimes it's the player. And I'm sorry, Brady just proved it's the player.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, really, everybody thought that he was just a product of the system, but he went out there and he said, "Hey, look, I'm in a brand new system, and it's not the system; it's just being the best player that I can possibly bring." And everybody wants to come around because they know he's the best.
Yes.
As much as it's funny. You always know when you're successful by how many people don't like you, right?
No,
yeah.
Because everybody wants to watch you down enough to do.
Yeah, but everybody really knows what the best thing about Brady is. You know what the best thing about Brady is, right?
What's that?
Giselle?
Of course, Giselle.
Giselle. Come on. That's a no-brainer. I mean, that was like, boom, one thought, there it is. As soon as you said that, Giselle. Come on, when you've got a Victoria's Secret angel on your
Unbelievable.
arm,
absolutely.
You good.
Yeah, you're fine. You're fine.
Good, man. I tell you, you've made it to the superstar status level then, don't you?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
I wouldn't know.
Anyway.
Yeah. So we've digressed quite enough for the past 10 minutes. So
absolutely.
Let's see. Just so you know, you got a couple hellos, Pete. Tom Bramwell is online. He says hi.
Thomas.
Got a bunch of people across. We got about 11 people watching. 9 now, but it goes up and down. But let's see. We also got one on Facebook too. We got Suburban Astronomer here. Suburban Astronomer. So I guess they liked your shirt from Wednesday night, Eric.
Oh, great.
So they Suburban Astronomer just said, "I hope we have an hour-long discussion of the spice melange to reestablish our geek cred." So
nice.
Yeah, if you don't know what the spice melange is, that's the Dune drug.
Yeah, the Dune.
Is that the new movie? Or are we talking about the new movie or the old movie?
Well, we're hyping up for the new movie. We're hyping up for that.
New movie, okay.
So
yeah.
It's gotta be better than Sting with metal underwear. It's gotta be better than that. So I mean,
it's gotta be. Yeah.
Bring me the floating fat man.
Oh my God, those the heart plugs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But let's see who else we got. We got Tom. We got AZ Astro, who's a follow. Gary Albin is on. How you doing? He said, "Has anybody heard that Sony has completed development on a new 102 megapixel sensor, which will hit in Q2. It's called the IMX. It's the IMX 555 sensor. Looks like a 4/3, 24 by 36. I have not heard that.
I personally have not.
No, unfortunately, I can't say anything on that.
Yep, not yet.
But there is a sensor. I just pulled it up. There is a 102 megapixels full frame sensor.
Yep.
It's the 6K vid sensor. Are they going to translate that into anything Astro related? I think it'll be too much.
It'll be a while.
I don't think so.
It'll be a while. Yeah.
It'll be a while for that. So yeah, that's just way too much. 6K, 120 megapixel. Yeah, you're talking to probably,
a 5-minute download.
Expensive. Yeah, and a super expensive camera. Yeah. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
Won't see that happening anytime soon.
No, at least not for the I guess the normal layman astrophotographer.
Yeah, not for guys like you and me and Scott and everybody else out here. No. So yeah, it's not gonna happen.
Pete, what do you got going on? So you recently came over to Woodland Hills. What's going on? It's good to hear you. Let's see what you got happening.
Well, first of all, a shout out to Thomas. Thomas, it's good to have you on board. And it was interesting is that I ended up moving up here to Placerville from Orange County. I was down at OPT from about 2016 until about 2018, and I just wanted to get away from just the traffic, the hustle and bustle. I mean, just just too much, too many people in Southern California. So I thought, okay, where do I really want to go? So I thought, I kind of always liked the foothills, the Sierras. So I thought I've got one or two choices. Either I could maybe reach out to Vic Mara, see if Vic could actually utilize somebody of my expertise, or I could maybe try optical structures. Well, I ended up going to optical structures, and I just will say one thing: you just need to put a Google search for Carey Kleeboard and just see what gets populated.
Yeah.
I decided at that
We
point it
won't
was
go
just,
there right now.
yeah, we won't go down. Just a little too much drama. But anyway,
Yeah.
what happened is I ended up getting a call from Larry Weatherly, and Larry called me, and everybody knows Larry's now at PlaneWave, and he's the national sales manager. And he said, Pete, he said, what are you doing? I said, well, due to the circumstances, I'm just kind of not really working right now. I'm just kind of debating what my next choice is. And he says, hold on a minute. He says, I've got something for you here. He says, Farah needs to have somebody with your skill set. Would you be interested in working for Woodland Hills? And I said, under the condition that I can work remotely. I said, there's no way that I want
Right.
to live down there in Topanga Canyon. So I ended up, talking to Farah. Farah said, "Yes, Pete, absolutely. If you want to work up there, go ahead and do it. But really, what I need you for is to kind of handle all of our back focus calculations, all of our systems integration." So I said, "Sure, not a problem." So literally, I came on board with them roughly about probably June 7th is when I started. So it's just been just under three and a half months right now.
Okay.
Awesome.
That's about it. But so much. I mean, there's so much going on right now. I mean, you know what it's like in this industry right now with COVID and the chain of supply. It's almost like it's Christmas. I mean, everybody's
Yeah.
just wanting to get.
Every day is Christmas.
Every day is
Yeah,
Christmas. Yeah,
yeah.
no
And
kidding.
sorry, go ahead.
No, go
I
ahead.
have, I have I have my latest Christmas present right here.
Oh, geez. But and it's something that we talk about on the show quite a bit as far as COVID and its impact on the astronomy visual or astrophotography. That it's just boomed. It's boomed, and and I talked to a lot of people, and I was not in the telescope business at the time, but everyone is comparing it to the last time they saw something like this was Halley's Comet, 30 years ago. And even Hale-Bopp and stuff, nothing like Hayataki, nothing. The solar eclipse, nothing compares to what's going on because everybody's doing the social distancing, trying to find something to do, all this kind of stuff. And what a better social distancing example can you do than we, as astrophotographers, we social distance for a living. I mean, so so
Yeah.
It's funny you should say that, Dan, because I mean, when you think about it, right? I mean, what we do as a hobby used to be kind of considered, oh, it's only for the geeks and for the nerds and for the engineers, right? But now that the Big Bang Theory has become mainstream, it's kind of now this hobby is just becoming mainstream now. It's just almost like, hey, guess what? Everybody can do it. And you're right. I mean, the technology now, the fast optics, the cameras, it really has made it to the point, and the cost now is dropped so much that literally for we talked about the other day, for $2,500 you can get into a really nice little setup and you can actually start and just beginning to do astrophotography.
yeah. I mean, it's really amazing. And again, these are the same questions that we talk about literally almost every show. What scope? What camera? What software? What do I need to do? Do I really need to get do I really need to spend $10,000 on a rig, or can I do it for under $1,000? I mean, and you and I and Scott and Eric too. We all talk about this quite a bit and saying the really important thing, and we spoke about this offline, was you got to be dreadfully honest on the end result of what you want. What do you want to take a picture of? And Alan Mitchell has an awesome TikTok out there, and he sat there and he said, you know what? People ask me all the time, what telescope should I buy? and what he said, and I'm not using my words, I'm using his, so I don't want to give myself, anything. But he's like, well, telescopes are made, they're made for an object. They're not made for a person. So you got to be dreadfully honest. Okay, do I want to see details on Jupiter? Do I want to see that little planetary nebula? Or am I okay with wide field where I want to see the Andromeda galaxy in my eyepiece in one shot, and that kind of stuff. So.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. I mean, the thing with, this hobby, to your point, is one, how can I put this? You can't, everybody, you can't fit a scope to every single person. I mean, it's not just this one size fits all type of a deal. So one, you got to be able to think about what I want to look at, and what am I going to use, and what also am I going to be able to utilize and get the most use out of. The telescope that you want to buy is the telescope you're going to use the most. Okay, yep. That's Absolutely. The big thing. So once you make that decision on that, right, and okay, it's the right, I'm gonna be able to take this out of my garage, like every day or whenever every clear night, this is the one I'm gonna use, then that's the one that you wanna, that you're gonna wanna buy. And then eventually, if you want to get into, astrophotography and that stuff, then you move into that. But first thing first is just ask yourself, which is the one that I actually am going, if I'm going to spend this money, which am I going to actually use it? Yeah. Or is it going to just start collecting dust in my garage?
Well, Eric, it's funny you should mention that, because most people will start off doing visual. And so they'll go out, maybe get like 9.5 or maybe a C11. And they say, okay, now I've done that, but I'm going to get into, I want to get a camera. So they buy a camera, but they don't even think that, wait a minute, I got to calculate out what the image scale is. Yeah. Because next thing you know, they get a camera, but they don't realize that their image scale is a lot less than say, 0.8 arc seconds per pixel.
Yeah, you get in the core of the Andromeda galaxy, and that's it.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's totally it. All of a sudden, you have that that 9.25, that C11, and then, I think I'm going to take the Andromeda galaxy, or I'm going to get all of M42 or anything like that. And then all of a sudden, all you have is this nothing but this big gas ball, and that's it. You're like, what in the world? And I've got Shark Boy right behind mosaic. Me, just letting you know.
The Shark Boy. Shark Boy showed up.
If you've seen my Dark Shark video, you'll know who I'm talking about.
The return of the shark. The shark
the
is
return
here.
of the shark. So yeah. So
all right.
Pete, it also,
we always said we keep it light. So
I love it. That's great.
He's my astral partner in crime. So
it's a good idea to do a little bit of homework on actually what's up there. There are a lot of people. I talk to a lot of people. They think Andromeda is a little tiny target. No, it's not. It's a huge target. It's a huge target. It's massive. They don't understand that it's this enormous galaxy. When you put a C11 or a C14 or even even one of the smaller ones, you're going to fill that frame really, really quickly. There's no way in hell I could shoot the Andromeda galaxy with my C14, not without using the Hyperstar. And even then, I'd probably have to do a 2-panel mosaic.
Yep.
So it helps to have a little bit of understanding as to what's up in the sky. Go to Barnes and Noble, buy some books on the universe. Start learning about what the different objects are up there. What the different sizes are. Educate yourself. Go on to YouTube and watch the SEA. I think it's SEA channel. And learn about what's out there.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Eric,
learn.
That's the Bible. That's the Bible there.
This is it. This is it. Okay, you put that down. We're not talking D&D right now, Dan. We're talking astronomy. We're talking AP, and this
I'm sorry, that's the wrong
is
book. Here you go.
this is the Bible.
Mhm.
Yep.
Absolutely. You
Yep.
know.
I got,
And I
but
tell
that's a Charles Bracken, right? That's
Yes.
yeah.
yes. These two also.
And I
This
tell you,
this guy
Dan,
writes great stuff.
Great
oh
stuff.
Dan, the book on your left, the planner, and what the target is. I mean, that's exactly what I do. I mean, I'll plan 3 or 4 months out to say, okay, this is the vocal field of view that I'm going to use. This is the
Yep.
vocal length I want, and I'll plan it according to that book there. And I tell you, Charles is an absolute whiz, and
Master.
we need to get him on the show. I can reach out to Charles because it would be great to have him on the show because people would really learn from him. And I always tell people it's good to get this book because it's the best investment that you'll get getting into this hobby.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm a huge fan, and that's one of the best things. I think it's this book. Maybe it's the other one.
Yeah, and seriously, this was the book. When I first started out, when my wife got me my 8SE, I wanted it because I wanted to get back into astronomy. Right? I had no thoughts about imaging or anything like that. She just got it for me for my birthday because she says, I want you to enjoy this, go in the backyard and see the stars like you used to when you were a kid. Then I started understanding, and learning a little bit more and understanding, I can take images. But I didn't run out and just buy something, right off the bat, except this thing.
Yep.
I bought this. I bought books and I surfed, and I went on to YouTube University and I learned, and made decisions based off of what I read in here, what I read in, I also have a couple others, like a planner and a couple others, and off of what, YouTube, and said, okay, now I have an inkling of what I need to go out and buy. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I do want to see, or I want to capture Andromeda, because I sure as heck couldn't get Andromeda with my 8SE.
No.
Forget about it. I mean, there was no way.
Yeah.
But I was able to see other things. I was able to see the Whirlpool. I was able to see, M50, M51. I was able to see the Owl Nebula. I was able to see the smaller objects. But when it's time for me I wanted to go after, say, Andromeda or M42, then I realized, based off of information that I've read and seen in other people's advice, that told me, all right, I need to go out and I need to get myself a small refractor.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yep.
It gave me those. That's when I started learning. So, you just can't just go out there and buy a telescope and think you're going to see absolutely everything,
Nope.
in the night sky just off of just buying the one telescope you have. No, it's not going to work.
Nope, it's just like and I equate it to golf all the time. There's a different club for every shot, just like there's a different scope for every object. If you're putting, you're not going to use a driver. Well, some people might, but the normal thing. If you're 400 yards away, you're not using a pitching wedge.
Right.
So I mean, the same thing for the wider field, just as Eric said. Wider field stuff, you need a shorter focal length. So you're going to need a refractor or something of a smaller length, like maybe a 4SE or something, like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Something smaller, on sub 1,000 millimeters.
Exactly.
Now, you want to get the Owl, well, maybe you need an 11.
Yeah.
To get that detail.
Yeah. And, if we elaborate this just even a little bit further, the idea that when people get into this hobby, they really need to kind of use the stars as a roadmap, to be able to sit there and look and say, okay, let me know where Polaris is. From Polaris, or better yet, the Big Dipper, using the Big Dipper as a point of reference to be able to come to Arcturus, to be able to actually determine from Vega down Arcturus, halfway is the keystone.
Yep.
The ability to know when you look at the stars, which is Capella, which is Elnath, which is Elnatak, which is Rigel, which is Betelgeuse. You have to kind of get familiar with the lay of the land. And so really it kind of starts with just being able to understand the bright stars and just kind of use them as a roadmap, because we all started star hopping. Remember? We all got into the hobby. We didn't have all the automation. We had to star hop.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
It takes quite a little bit of practice.
It does. It takes quite a bit of practice. And nowadays, when people have asked me, my family, when they say, hey, if I wanted to buy, like my little cousin, a telescope, I say, don't buy them a telescope yet. This is what I want you to do. Go, you have a computer, do me a favor. Go and download a application called Stellarium.
Sure.
Download Stellarium, and I'll walk you through it. And I want my little cousin to at least know, all right, when I'm pointing north, this is what I'm going to see if I'm facing north. And if I'm facing south, this is what I'm going to see facing south. And things travel from, from east to west. So these are the things I explained to when I explained to my little cousins, who were getting into this, and who had some interest at the time. These are things I say, don't go out and spend money on a telescope just yet. Let me help teach them how to navigate the night sky. They've got to, I know each of my little cousins, they all have computers and stuff like that, so here, let me do this. And then I also told them, let's go ahead and let's download Sky Safari. You've got an iPhone or you got an Android, ask your mom, can you download this, and then take it outside. And then when you're looking up in the night sky, just turn the compass on and then start looking up. Sure. And let that compass follow. So then you can say, oh, okay, so there's Polaris, and there's the Big Dipper, there's Deneb, there's everything. So this is not a sprint. It is a marathon. Okay. And it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. And this is a lifelong journey. If you're really interested in it, it's a lifelong journey. And you're going to learn things every day.
Unless if you're our friend on the bottom right who jumps in and gets a C14 and a rainbow mount for his first scope. So
well, come on, I didn't start with the rainbow.
You started with the CGX.
I didn't start with the rainbow. The other one, Eric, that I started with that I really like before I found Sky Safari. And Sky Safari is awesome. I use it. I love it. It's a freaking awesome. The one that I think is great for little kids because it's just wonderful. I don't know how well you guys can see that. Actually, it's coming in pretty good. That's Star Walk.
Star Walk. Yep.
And Star Walk, you just walk outside with that sucker and you just point it up into the sky. And it'll show you exactly what the heck you're looking at. It's freaking awesome. And kids go ape. They go ape for this. They love it.
Yeah.
They're like, oh my gosh, I can see. Where is this? And before you know it, you get 5 minutes in and they're hooked.
Yeah.
They're hooked. They love this thing. And it's cheap. The Star Walk 2 is cheap. Yeah. It's a couple of bucks.
Yeah.
So
we got a lot of people. I'm sorry, I don't want to ignore our viewers. We got a lot of chat going on in the chat box.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. So let me go back a little bit. George Lutch is on. He's one of our guys. He's a regular. Mark Ellis is on. Need to start a tech industry. Move to New Mexico so I could move there okay, that's George. Okay. Tom Daigon is on. He's an avid follower. Wherever I want to buy something, it seems to be Woodland Hills is the only vendor that has it in stock.
What? I'll echo that sentiment, because there have been many times where other companies haven't had something, but then I'll go to telescopes.net and it's there.
Yep. Yeah, I agree.
And I will grab it. So yeah.
Yeah, I got plenty of points at Woodland Hills.
Yes, same here.
I that's the one thing that I will admit is that having talked to Kurt, having talked to Farah, the amount of inventory that they've brought in, I mean, it's just absolutely astounding. The warehouse, I went back to the warehouse to work on a couple of plane waves that had come in. Their warehouse is just stacked from floor to ceiling, and the amount of product that gets brought in. So as soon as we get deliveries coming in from Celestron, it's incredible to see. I mean, we're talking a couple hundred of OATs and mounts. So it's a real testament to Kurt and to Farah. And then now I'm working with Farah to make sure that we get the plane waves and the Officina Stellaris inbound as well, because we're starting to really get into a lot of pro services applications. We're getting a lot of work with a lot of universities. We're getting a lot of inquiries now coming in from companies like Los Alamos Labs, a lot like JPL wanting to do a lot of work on following, tracking satellites. So
Nice.
it's kind of interesting. It's a hobby. It's kind of still in the amateur phase, but it's getting really into the pro services commercial end of it as well.
Nice.
Well, Dan and I were in the hunt for, 3 nanometer filters forever, and we went to several different places to try to get them, didn't we, Dan?
Yep.
And one day he calls me, Dan does, he calls me, he's like, you need to contact over at Woodland Hills like in the next 30 minutes. They've got a full set.
I forgot the guy's name. What was the guy's name?
Oh God,
Brian?
right out of my head.
I don't know.
I don't remember.
I forgot his name.
In fact, I called you that day, Pete, and
I remember that.
I said, the Antlias, and they had one set left, and I snatched them up. Could not find those suckers anywhere. Could not find the Astrodons anywhere. And I tried. I waited on Astrodons for months and months and months and months and months. Nothing.
I wish I could
Filters
say
are like
what's
the
going on,
pain
but
right
I have
now.
to kind of watch what I say.
Yeah, I hear you. No, understandable. Me too.
Yeah.
So it's like so this is kind of a weird show just from a business standpoint. So you got me who works for Camera Concepts one day a week. You got Pete who works over at Woodland Hills, who are direct competitors. And then, if Tyler was on, we would have Explore Scientific rep. So it'd be a complete...
Don't forget Tegan at High Point Scientific.
Tegan and High Point. So, but it's awesome that we could have this group of people from, even though that, it's not like a bloodbath. It's like, it's all about the hobby. And that's what I love about it. It doesn't matter. We're all doing what we can do in the best way we can to promote and educate and help not only ourselves, but everybody else in the hobby that is going through the same issues. And that's why I love AstroWorld. So.
Well, I mean, that's the heart of the people that are here. We're all the Santa Clauses sending, the customers to gimbals from Macy's.
Yeah.
If you understand that reference.
Hey, listen, in this time and in this supply chain issues that we've had, listen, whoever has it, get it. I don't care who it is, because you may be passing up. Listen, I'm all about loyalty, but you know what? If I see High Point is getting something tomorrow or has it, or Woodland Hills or anybody else, I'm going to pick it up. I'm not going to sit there and wait because Camera Concepts doesn't have it. It might be 9 months. So, so you just get it when you can get it. And that's
you get it when you can get it. That's it.
Yeah. What else? So, Mark
what's
Ellis.
interesting is,
go ahead.
Like the used market right now, you can imagine some of these guys that have actually been buying these scopes for the last 30 years and they're getting a little older now and they're thinking, you know what, I don't want to have to lift a C11 or a C14. I've had this Takahashi 152 and you know what, I haven't used it. It's just been sitting in the closet collecting dust. That a lot of these scopes are going to be coming on the used market in the next 3 to 5 years. Yeah. It's going to be very interesting. And those were great optics back then. I mean, they were built back
They're
in
still great optics.
So I got a feeling
I don't care what you do. Any Takahashi is going to be a win.
Oh, it is. I mean,
absolutely.
It's just amazing. Like this lady. I mean, remember when I called you, Scott, and I said that we had that TOA 130?
I remember. Scott called me and said, "Hey, you want a Takahashi?"
She never used it. She had it and just sat in her closet for like close to about 15 years. Yep. I thought, oh my God, the thing was absolutely pristine.
Yeah,
it's amazing that I think you're going to see a lot of this.
And the optics on the Tox, I mean, my friend's got a Toa, and it's just the optical quality of it is outside. The one thing I have against Takahashi is that the scopes are awesome, but if you need a new set of rings or a dovetail or something, man, those holes are specific. You need to get the Takahashi rings. You need to get, and it's like 3 or 4 times the price of anything else.
Oh, and Dan, also too, They're adapters.
Yeah. Oh my God.
And their adapters are the razor blades. The scope is nothing but just the razor, but the razor blades is what costs you half the cost of the
I'll go
scope.
this way. Sorry, not the. But man, I mean, some of those they're like $400 for a standard adapter. I mean, it's like it's out of control. But you know what?
I know.
But in all fairness, the Takahashi optics are
Tough to beat.
Absolutely.
unbelievable.
They are.
Yeah. That's
Um,
why, as I said, it's so funny is that in this hobby, everybody says, well, what's your favorite scope? I tell you what, it's hard to be able to say, I like this scope. I like this scope. I like this scope. I mean, I've got like 3 or 4 favorites that I just have to say, these are what I like.
yeah.
And it just depends upon what you feel. It's kind of like having wine, right? It just depends upon what you feel like drinking that night.
What you feel like drinking that night? Exactly.
Absolutely.
What do you feel like, aiming at, tonight? Exactly
Yeah.
it. Yeah. So you're right.
That is very true. Um,
Yeah.
let's see. Mark Ellis, Eric, thought you stashed that in a box someplace.
Oh, Shark Boy.
The shark. Oh yeah, shark
Yeah.
boy. Senthil, who's a customer at Camera Concepts, was on. Yes, I do remember you. We had a nice conversation about drift alignment, so that was interesting. Let's see. Is someone's dog? Yeah, I blamed it on you, Eric. Is someone's dog sliding on the tile? And that's Titan flying around.
Yeah.
That's your Chihui Hui, right?
Yeah, that was Titan. Yeah.
Actually, Senthil said something about our drift alignment conversation. I actually remember that conversation. Could you guys show how to do a 2-star polar alignment, how it works in Nina? That's from Senthil. I mean, we could. I don't have my scope set up. I don't know, Pete. I don't know how well versed you are in Nina.
You'd have to literally set it up and having the accessibility to show Nina on a laptop to be able to show how that can get done. I mean, verbally talking about it, I don't think that the concept would actually get visualized, if you know what I mean.
Actually, let me get my desktop up here. I can find it. Desktop capture. And then display 2. Minimize this.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Unfortunately, it's kind of cloudy out here right now, so I can't do anything on my laptop right now. Or else.
I'll just bring this over here.
I'm sorry, Pete. You were saying?
Well, I was just going to say is that with Nina, I've downloaded it, but I've never actually really played with it. I'm more of a Voyager. I've actually utilized SIPs, Scientific Instrument Processing from Moravian Cameras. That's a very good free program. Also, I don't know if I should promote this. I don't know if I can, Dan, but I mean,
you can do whatever you want. It's our show.
Prism software is a very good software. It basically has got mount control, camera control, even dome control. But at the same time, it's very similar to Maxim DL because it actually has a post-processing software to go with it. So what Hamza has done with Hyperion is he's basically allowed all the distributors to say anybody who wants to download Prism, they've got a 80-day trial period that it's free just to go ahead and try it. And then if somebody decides that they do want to go ahead and they want to purchase it, then we actually have a code at Woodland Hills Camera and Telescope that will give them a 20% discount. And I tell you, Prism is a very good software. It's like Maxim. Maxim is a great software program. It's kind of the staple that's been out there for quite a while. Nina is kind of really now the go-to software for data capture, but it doesn't have post-processing. So if anybody's looking for post-processing and data capture, look at Prism software. And of the 2 choices, there's the professional as well as the advanced. I would recommend getting the advanced. It's definitely the way to go. But give it a shot. I think people will definitely be impressed with Prism software.
And it doesn't break the bank too terribly bad. I think the highest end one is what, $399, something like that.
$399, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't break the bank. Not really.
Yeah.
It's not that bad. Not for an all-inclusive.
Yeah, it's a combination. It's got a planetarium program, not as good as the SkyX in my estimation. It does have great algorithm in the background to do a lot of background calculations. So it'll definitely calculate out your image scale on your cameras. It'll definitely do mount control. It really is a very, very intuitive software. It's going to take at least a couple of hours to kind of get a rudimentary feel for it. But as you get more involved in it, it's a very good software. If we're talking about data control, like Voyager is the same way. Basically, Voyager is kind of the umbrella that sits on top of, say, maybe the SkyX, or even Nina, and it will definitely allow you to do, mount control, dome control, and it basically gives you that freedom of automation that you can go ahead and set it up and fall asleep at night, and you'll know that you're going to get all your data captured the following morning. SGP, I've used SGP, but it's kind of like they've gone to a monthly subscription, kind of like Photoshop, remember? And I think that they've lost a little bit because of that.
Yeah, and they did. And I've been using SGP since its inception, pretty much. And I met the guys at SGP at a booth about 5 or 6 years ago at NEAF in upstate New York. And it's funny, and some people notice, some people don't, but SGP was made by two guys who don't even do astrophotography. They do nothing with astrophotography. They're just programmers, and they saw a niche, and they did a good job. They did a good job with it for many years, and I've used it for many years. And it was $149. Like, I think it was $99 when I bought it. And now, like you said, now it's $149 to start if you're a new user, and then it's $59 a year after that. So whatever the case may be, for what it does, it's worth the 50, if you can get past the startup, $59 a year. But I switched, and I made a big deal about it. I switched over to Nina just over the past couple of months, and it's powerful. And just for, like you said, image acquisition and running your software, running your hardware, your telescope, your focuser, your autofocus, plate solving, now 3-star polar alignment, a whole bunch of stuff going on. But I gotta be, there are some things that other programs do better. And Senta was asking about the polar alignment, and it's unfortunate I don't have my whole telescope set up. I was going to try and do it, but Nina wants everything plugged in for me to start it. But the 3-star polar alignment in Nina, to me, if you're doing it through your imaging camera and it's a slower, like I have a CCD camera, which has a slow download speed. So I'm waiting probably about 15 seconds for it to hit the picture. And that being said, what it does is it takes a picture, it downloads it, it calculates your error, and then you got to move the scope and take a picture again, wait another 15 seconds. But dude, and polar alignment takes, for me to do it that way, it could take up to about 10 minutes. It's because you're waiting for those numbers to come through. Now, that's why I'm still using SharpCap for polar alignment, because I'm able to use a different camera, and the download speed's a lot faster, and it's a live view. So I see that star moving. And I literally do, polar alignment with SharpCap in under 2 minutes. I'm done.
That's what I said.
And it's really accurate.
What was that, Pete?
SharpCap's really good. SharpCap's very good for polar alignment. Yeah. Very fast, and as Scott says, very accurate. Yeah. Very, very accurate.
Yes.
And it's interesting.
It's easy to use.
Yeah, and what's funny is it's kind of like Software Bisque, right? Software Bisque has their rough polar alignment, then they have their accurate polar alignment, but at the same time, you've got to be involved in doing their T-point, and they say that you need to have a 30-point minimum model for T-points. So you figure each one of those is going to be probably at least 10, 12 seconds. So you figure if you're going to do a minimum of 30, then you got to do a little bit after the calculations. You got to kind of slew the scope to a particular star that they say. And then you got to get, as you said, Dan, you got to get the pictures. And then you're pretty close to having it right in the middle. And then it tells you that you have to rotate it on the altitude by so many ticks. You got to do the azimuth by so many ticks.
That's crazy.
The tick marks, the long tick mark is 4 arc minutes. The second tick mark is 2 arc minutes.
2 arc minutes, yeah. You know, I was a big Sky. I didn't get the Sky X, but I did Sky 3, 4, 5, and 6. I was using it for quite a while, and I did have I made the plunge about 10 years ago when Maxim 4 came out, and bought that for $359. And man, you want to talk learning curve? Woo!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, if I would put like just as far as acquisition is concerned, SGP versus Maxim, SGP wins in ease of use.
Yep.
But Maxim has all. It's a one-stop shop. So it's like it's like SGP and PixInsight or Prism mashed in one, just like Prism is.
Yep.
Where you got everything all in one package, so it's nice.
I mean, when we talk about polar alignment, I was thinking, and maybe we're all in agreement on this, but the one item that really revolutionized and changed polar alignment was the PoleMaster.
Absolutely.
I mean, when that it made polar alignment so freaking easy now. It was just oh my God, it just 3 minutes, I'm up and running, and I'm all polar aligned.
It totally transformed my enjoyment of the entire hobby, because I mean, we're all, maybe not Eric, but we're all old enough to remember what is that? What is he showing us?
PoleMaster.
Oh, the PoleMaster.
PoleMaster.
Yep. When I figured out I was able to use my guide camera as a polar alignment camera with sharp cap, I sold the PoleMaster. But whatever the case may be, the PoleMaster is, you got it?
Yeah.
Jerk, I didn't get mine yet. But the ASIR Plus is now hitting the what is it called, Eric? The
ASIR experience
officers, yes. So,
yep. So yeah. So
Eric was chosen out of one of the many.
Out of the first round, out of the first round. So
yep.
The Pro, cool. That's what I got now, and got the
Plus. Yep,
got it. So these are going to be awesome.
Yep,
but for polar alignment, you guys talking about polar alignment. I mean, you got sharp cap. I mean, you've got PoleMaster. I still have my PoleMaster. I'm not going to get rid of it. And I've got, you guys use Nina. You can use Nina. You got iPolar. I mean, there's so many things now.
Yep.
That you can utilize. It's crazy.
Yep.
And they're all very accurate.
My knees, when I had my Lost Mandy mount, my knees thanked the PoleMaster. My knees alone, PoleMaster.
I got this. I can do this.
Yeah, I got this. Oh my!
Yeah, you're not going to stand up straight for the next 3 days, but I got this.
No.
Oh, it was especially if it was a Schmidt. If it was a Schmidt, oh my God, that's dreadful. I remember the
AVX. It's nuts.
So I had an LX200 GPS, the original one, and it was on a wedge, and I don't know if you remember the old wedges, but everything was like metal. Everything was metal. This wedge weighed more than the entire scope. It was crazy. And so I plopped this thing down. Try making adjustments in 18-degree weather. Try it. and then try getting the scope, the center bolt, undone after 4 hours of, man, my palms, I thought I had stigmata. And it was just like, I got blisters on my hands. What is that? Polar alignment scope?
Oh, yeah. These polar scopes.
Yeah.
When I first started getting, oh my God, and I had to get down, and I'm not getting any younger, and they had to get down, and I'm like, oh God, I can't, what? And it's pitch black, and then I got to get my red light.
Shine it through the front.
So I can shine it through the front, and I'm like, wait, okay, oh yeah, the heck with this. I'm buying myself a PoleMaster.
I think there's a guy, and you guys will know the guy on YouTube. It's like Astrophotography tutorials. It's like a green logo with an eye on it. That's the logo of his page, and he has a whole thing on sharp cap. and the first picture you see is him with a black eye, right? A circle around. And it's like, you see this? You'll never have to do this again. It's awesome.
That's right. Everybody who's our generation has a story to talk about or using a polar scope. It's
Oh,
so
Oh
funny.
yeah.
it's dreadful. It's dreadful. But we got Sean from Physical Dark is on.
Beatrice is on too.
Beatrice
Yeah,
Hines
hey.
is on. Nice to see all these people are on. I gotta
Yeah.
say,
Awesome.
I gotta say that the people that are on tonight is because of you, Pete, because we're at
Oh, no,
16,
no, no.
18, 20 people, which is something that we haven't
Yeah.
seen in a while. So,
Yeah.
You know what it is? It's the ability just to be able to kind of relate, because we all love this hobby. And that's
Yep.
the one thing about it is that we enjoy it, and the ability to talk about what we've learned and what we do, because what I do might be different than what Eric does, but guess what? We get the same result.
yeah.
It's
He's
just a
a
matter
result,
of and what I find enjoyable, what I do is talking to people who actually get into it. And then 6 months later, they go, Pete, I'm thinking about wanting to upgrade. What would you recommend? And then they call me 2 or 3 years later, and I see that image that they took. And I always say, save that first image, because it's going to be interesting to see how you've honed your skill set. And
Absolutely.
it's amazing to see.
Absolutely. I still have my very first photo. My very first photo was M51. And that was with the 8SE. And my gosh. And with my little and I had my little Canon T3, my little EOS T3, and everything. And I still have that. And looking back and looking at now, doing, my latest M51, it's like, wow, in just these few short years, look how far you've come. It's impressive. It makes me feel good. And then my wife's like, okay, you're spending all this money, and may as well, you better start showing me something. Spending all this money.
Let me tell you, I unfortunately do not have my first photo, because actually maybe Pete's the only one that could relate to this, because Scott doesn't take pictures, and Eric's not old enough yet. But my first picture was shot with the Pentax K1000, which is a 30. That is, for those of you that don't know what that is a 35 millimeter film camera. And unfortunately, I don't know where the pictures went. I don't know where they went. They're just gone.
Oh.
But no matter what, they were all out of focus anyway, because you know what? It's not like the instant gratification we have today, where I had to drop it off at the photomat, wait a week or two to get it back, and I get it back, and it sucks. It's garbage, So it probably was garbage, but I upgraded from the Pentax K1000 to a Minolta Maxim, which was another film camera, and then I upgraded then to maybe Pete, you remember them, SAC cameras.
Yeah.
I had a SAC 7B that I had.
Dan, you're starting to show your years now. You know that.
I know. I didn't get this great.
I can't even begin to imagine trying to do astrophotography with film.
Oh, a lot of people do it and do great stuff. I just didn't have the know-how. I didn't have it.
Yeah. I mean, back then we didn't have YouTube. We didn't have video tutorials. I mean, my God, video tutorials now make it so easy to be able to understand, how do I actually do PixInsight? How do I do AstroPixel Processor? I mean, how do I do one-shot cameras, or how do I do an HOO image with just a one-shot camera? I mean, the ability to have what the millennials have now is made this hobby such a unique thing right now, that really the fast optics, the cameras, the equipment now, oh my God, it's the golden age for what we do.
Yeah, it is.
I agree.
It is. It totally. I mean, I guess I'm lucky, that I got, when I got started, it was about 4 or 5 years ago, and to start, my first acquisition software, I'm sure you guys remember, was Backyard EOS.
Sure.
And it's still out there.
Yeah, a lot of us.
Backyard EOS, it's still out there.
Yep.
And now I'm using the ASI Air. So it's amazing, just in these 4 years, where we have come. with everything, with the Eagle, with the ASI Air, you name it. I mean, everything that's out there nowadays with with the fast optics, with the Rasa. I've got my Rasa 8 over here, with the Hyperstars. It's insane.
Yeah.
It is
And
absolutely insane.
Eric, remember in the old days, all we had was ASCOM, right?
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
what you got Alpaca, you've got Indigo.
Alpaca,
I mean,
Yeah.
you're seeing a lot more of these source coding for specifics for what you want to do, and even now we can even do scripting. I mean, the ability now that you can do scripting on stuff within like Prism, within Maxim DL, within a lot of these data, it
well.
really is just incredible what you can do.
Yeah.
It is absolutely amazing. It is really, really amazing.
Yeah, if you have the know-how, you can customize any open source program to whatever you want it to do. And I do not have that type of know-how, but a lot of people do. And they make, and the thing that's great about this hobby is many people, not all, but many people, if they write scripts, if they write programs, if they write anything for an open source program, they will make that available to everybody else.
Yeah.
Half of the stuff that comes out with either Nina or PixInsight, or I don't know how open source Prism is because I don't have a lot of exposure to it. But if it is, I'm sure all these scripts, like a lot of the stuff after the fact, aftermarket stuff, come from people that are astrophotographers that say, hey, I can make something that maybe will make this a little bit easier. And it's really awesome.
Do it, and it's so incredible because they do it just for the love of the hobby and just to share it with everybody else. So they're not looking for monetary gain or anything like that. They don't mind the kudos and the attaboys, and they don't mind, every once in a while the donations, and stuff like that. But they're not in. A lot of them aren't in it for that. They're in for it because they see, an opportunity to, make their lives better by doing something. And in turn, it's going to end up making everybody else's life better, in doing this stuff. So, yeah.
Exactly. Absolutely.
Well, it's funny. Eric, you brought up a great program just a little while ago called Backyard EOS.
Yep.
Do you remember Backyard EOS when the lights off, you had to use Astro Tortilla? Remember that was their plates on?
Okay.
Yes.
Now they've upgraded to ASTAP. And I guess Guyland is the main. Guyland, I love the interface, the graphical interface on Backyard EOS. I really like the way that he done it. And I always recommend it. If you've got a DSLR camera and it's a Canon, that's a great program for data capture. It really is. And now that it's got ASTAP, it's just amazing. So yeah, we really are blessed to have people that really have just taken to the hobby and have actually made it so much easier for all of us to be involved in it. And it really is good. It's really good to see.
Yeah. It's awesome. I mean, I'm going to date myself even I'm going to go, if anybody remembers, pre-PhD 2. There was let's go pre-PhD.
Let's go one.
Forget about pre-PhD. Let's go pre-PhD. Guide dog.
Yeah, that's horrible.
Guide dog. Dude, so you remember the nice little PhD? You lose a star, it goes bling, bling, bling. Yeah. Imagine hearing this. Whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa. That's all you did. You heard a dog barking every time you had low star mass, lost a star, a cloud went through. And I'm sitting there like, dude, turn that thing off. We're in the middle of Cherry Springs. I don't want to hear a dog barking. But
that's funny.
Yeah, I definitely date myself with that stuff. But what, I because of all those, I guess I don't want to say evil, but the lack of technology and how difficult it used to be to just pull off a decent picture. Forget about stacking or anything. I mean, forget about any of that stuff. Just to pull off a decent picture was, in the beginning for me, it was very disconcerting because I got so frustrated really fast. I took my telescope, dumped it in a closet for probably about 6 or 7 years. And I wouldn't even touch it. And then finally the digital age started rolling through. and I got my LX200 GPS, and I got my, what was it? It was the HP PhotoSmart camera, and I got that, and I found a cheap adapter. It wasn't even some random size, and I don't even know what it was because the lens, I don't know, whatever. I got it and I took a picture, and I have that picture. But other than that, I mean, there's, and then I got the Rebel XT, no number, the XT. Then I went to the T3i, and then I started CCDs. I got my SBIG, and went from there. So I went from a T3i to an SBIG. So,
and it's amazing is even looking at the cameras, because we remember the big camera manufacturer back then was SBIG, right? And they made that nice box camera, right?
Yeah, I have it.
And I mean, the build quality is phenomenal on those.
Sure.
And then FLI made the big box cameras, the real big cameras. And so they really were kind of the state of the art. And then I remember ZWO coming out with that barrel-shaped camera, the lightweight barrel-shaped camera, and it was a CMOS. And I thought, oh boy, this is going to change CCD technology. CCD is going to be and it really did. It's just incredible how the CMOS technology in the last 2 years has just changed.
2 years.
In 2 years, it's gone. SBIG doesn't have the market share that they once used to.
No, well, they waited too long. They just getting this, actually within the last 12 months, they just got into the CMOS realm.
Exactly.
They pulled a Kodak.
And they don't even have ASCOM driver. They don't have ASCOM driver.
No.
I'm going, why have you waited so long? They're kind of like the automakers, oh, no. America will always love the big cars. Well, they turned out the Japanese were making the small cars, and, Detroit lost out. I think SBIG was in that same position.
Yeah.
They
that stupid
SBIG
S driver checker 32-bit, whatever the hell it was. That was like the worst thing on the planet. I mean, and that was one of the things that made me stick with Sequence Generator Pro as long as I did, because my SBIG, I have an STF 8300, and
good chip.
Yeah, it's an awesome chip, and it's decent. Download speed's not so bad. It's pretty good, but it's only a 4/3, so it's a little on the small side for me. And so I ended up purchasing. I'm the only holdout. I'm the only holdout for the CCD people. I'm like the only one left. So I purchased Ron Breacher's camera, which is a QHY 16200, and that thing is just awesome, but it's slow. But the camera is ridiculous. It's awesome.
And don't you also have a 294?
I do.
Sorry,
I have 5 ZWO cameras.
Yeah.
I have a 178 for guiding. I have a 174 for solar. I got a 294 for color. I got a 120 mini for my mini guide, and I got a 290 for planetary. So I don't know if that's 5, but I got all of those. But I mean, but 3 of them are sitting in my closet of death. So
closet of death.
Closet of death, right here. And
but as you said, Eric, you said it very early is that of all the chip manufacturers, what we do is just a very, very small segment of that pie for their market, for their product portfolio. It's more for scientific, biological, universities. So astrophotography is just a very, very small market. And like, I've always liked the build quality of FLI. I always thought Finger Lakes Instruments makes a very good quality. But even now, they're kind of starting to slowly kind of say, well, we'll still dabble in it, but it's not going to be really our forte. And I think even like with these filters, we've always loved the narrowband filters, the Astrodons, the chroma filters. And I know Dick Stewart, he basically has known that astronomy will always be just a very small market. So they'll still dabble in it, but they're not going to really put a lot of resources or a lot of money to make a lot of production. And so consequently, with this chain of supply, we're finding out now that, you're right. If somebody else could come up and start making filters, as Scott was saying, that Antilia, maybe they might be the people that could just fill in that void right now.
Yeah.
Yes,
But
and that's
Well,
exactly
they
what's
did for
happening.
Dan and me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, and
I
I got my first. I got my first Pro, my first HA. You
yep.
know, I have to get the other two, but I got my first one now. But but from what I've been seeing from images on AstroBin, for example, of people using the Antlias, and I'm looking at those, and and then I'll look at maybe the same target, and not every target is like almost, it's practically like a fingerprint. It's unique. It could be the same target, but everybody processes it differently.
Right.
But when you look at those Antlias, and then you look at an Astrodon or a Chroma, I can't tell, overall, the real difference, and something that would, make me want to spend
An
that much
extra
more money
1,000.
on an
Yeah.
Astrodon, where I feel, in my opinion, I can get just as great quality, out of those Antlias
Yeah.
for, a quarter of the price,
Half the money.
so.
Yeah, the
Yeah, I mean,
Antlias are half of what the Astrodons are. I think the
Yeah,
Astrodon
exactly.
36
Yeah, half,
millimeters were
exactly.
750. They were
yeah,
750 each.
yeah, they went up a little bit, but yeah, so it's about that. I
Did they go
actually
up?
have the 36i series in my SB, and they're awesome. But I mean, it's you really got, again, it goes back to what we talk about all the time on the show. You got to be honest with yourself. Can you justify the difference in cost based on the result that you get? And what Pete sees in a picture is not going to see what any of us else see. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Exactly.
If you're going to see it differently, I'm going to see it differently, Scott, and we're all going to see it differently, and it's all in the eye of the artist. And
Exactly.
you got to, sometimes you got to take that dive and say, hey, you know what? I want those chroma filters, or I'll be okay with the Optilongs. Whatever it is, that's what you got to decide for yourself, and you got to do exactly what you did, Eric. And you got to go to places like AstroBin or Telescopius or any of these other file servers for astrophotography, and look at the pictures, and you can filter it to your scope and those filters and see the results that people are getting.
hey, this kind of brings into a good segue for another topic about post processing.
Sure.
And I was thinking, is looking at the image behind you, Dan. Maybe it's just me. I love that image because I look at some images and I see how they're so oversaturated. And I just go, oh my God, it's almost like, it looks like it's almost like an HDR. It's just so oversaturated. You know
Yep.
how they do those, but I've always liked kind of more of the muted kind of look to it, where you can definitely see the details, but it's more of a muted, smooth look of that transition between, say, the HA to the O3.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
How do you guys feel about these saturated images that you see? I
I
mean,
don't like it.
I mean,
I don't like it one bit.
it's all in the eye of the
You see,
beholder. I agree with you.
It is. It's all in the eye of the
yeah,
beholder. It really, really is. It's all
I
in
am
the eye of the beholder.
I am so grateful to my wife, and for her artistic eye. My wife is
Mm-hmm.
classically trained as an artist. She has a master's degree in fine art. And when I first, many years ago, started processing uh, landscape photography, I would do that because I like the rich, the ultra HDR. And she's like, no, it's too much. It's too much. And I'm like, but I like it. She's like, okay, you like it, but it's too much. And I finally had to realize, okay, she's the one that's got the master's degree. She's the one that's got she's trained as an artist in this. Maybe I should be listening to her. And I'm so grateful that I did, because she was spot on. And, she shares your mindset, Pete, in that and Dan's as well, because he's the one that processed that picture, right? That the muted, taking it down a bit, and it makes it more realistic. It doesn't mean that you're not going to get a beautiful kind of vibrant, saturated, not overly saturated, but beautiful saturated picture that has a lot of color in it. But it's not like, wow, yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
Wow, really? And that was. Yeah, it was a hard lesson because I didn't see it at first, but she was patient and she'd walk around with a big stick, and beat me over the head with it every now and then.
And I just want to have some full disclosure about the picture behind me. I took it. I did most of the processing, but I got some help tweaking it quite a bit from Ron Breacher. I actually took an hour lesson with
There you
him
go.
to kind of help fine tune the colors. And I knew something wasn't right. I didn't know what it was. He helped me a lot with my curve adjustments and my histogram transformation, and it just made it pop.
Oh, to me, it's very pleasing. To me, that's the image that I find very, very pleasing. And
Thank
yet
you.
I look at some of these photos and I just go, oh my God, it's just too garish. It's just
It's
too,
just it's just too in your face,
yeah,
with the color,
Brassy.
So yeah,
yeah,
You
you're right.
gotta
it
have that
is.
nice muted, because if you do that, I mean, and listen, this is just my perspective of it. To do that to a picture, to me, and I'm gonna put it in really easy terms, it starts to look fake.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And
Yes.
that's
Yep.
the easiest way I could put it. If you start to think in your head that doesn't look right, hit the undo button and do it again. And don't
Yep.
sit there and move forward and say, I can fix this. Why are you going to fix
Yeah.
something? That's like, well, you know what?
Yeah.
My lug nut on my tire is just a little bit cracked, but I'm going to put it on there because if I put it on tight enough, I'll go through the crack and it'll stay. Next thing you know, the tire goes flying off and you're in a ditch. But, you got to sit there and think. You would rather fix something before it becomes a problem than
Yes.
move forward while you know there is a problem. So go
Yeah,
back to the spot where you didn't have that problem and then continue.
That's
That
the
is
same thing
exactly
with,
what I did with what my wife was telling me. She looked at it and said, "Well, what if I did this?" And she said, "No. Go back to the NEF. That NEF is Nikon RAW. That's
Yep.
the native imaging in Nikon, right? The NEF. Go back to the NEF and start from what was out of the camera. If she said if you continue to try to fix it, you're going to compound the problem, and before you know it, you're going to be in the swamp." And she was right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I just scrapped everything I did, went right back to the original, and started over.
We got
an idea.
I'm sorry, go
I've
ahead.
got an idea for another show that would be kind of interesting. Is that what we could do? And as I said, we're not being artists or judges or anything. What we could do is we could put a bunch of either, Eric, put your photos on. Dan, I'll submit a couple of photos. We'll get a couple of photos from some of the audience members. And what we could do then is we could say, okay, as an observer, let's look at this photo. What is it that we find pleasing about the photo? What is it that excites you about the photo? Is it the detail? Is it the color? Is it the star color that isn't oversaturated or isn't burned out? I think that might be a nice little show that we could do in the future as well. Just go through some photos and just give it a once going over.
Well, I will be happy to screw up a photo and send it to be critiqued. I'll be happy.
Well,
here. If we've got 30 seconds here, let me just share my screen, and I'd love to just get you guys' take on something.
Let me make it big screen. Where are you? There you go.
Yeah. Okay. This is a Cygnus wall.
Yep.
Okay, you got that? All right, and that.
Oh,
yeah.
Now that is nice.
Or that.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah.
This is a perfect lesson. That the same thing with you, Scott. I sat down and I talked to my wife, and I even brought my kids in, and said, "Okay, guys, I need your opinions. What do you think of this or this?"
I definitely see a nice. Well, go back to the first one again, real quick.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I mean, so it looks like you did some either local histogram equalization or some dark area.
Yeah, I did a little bit of dark area, but I also boosted up that saturation.
Yep.
Where where I think I overdid it compared to here. I've got the detail, I think.
Yep, it's got depth to it. It's got depth.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not two-dimensional.
Yes,
exactly.
Yeah, I like that better. Totally. I like what you did with the blue. You boosted up the contrast of the blue, so it's not as smooth. It's not overdone, I don't think. It's tough to see on this screen because it's small, but I don't think you overcooked it. It doesn't look, the stars don't look hot.
No.
The detail in the wall itself, especially in the top right and the bottom left are awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And with the dark lane structure enhancement, or whatever you did to bring out those dark areas,
Yeah.
I think it's done well.
Thanks.
Yeah, that's
So,
that's where
and
it
this is
really
one of those
pops.
things. Yeah. Yeah. So this is a perfect example, like
Absolutely.
what you were talking about, Pete, is sharing things like this, because to your point, it's all in the eye of the beholder. So that
Yep,
was
I agree.
first, and then this was second. And we're like,
Yeah.
yep, stop there.
Yeah.
So
And as
yeah,
you said,
well, no,
what we could do is we could have, say, some of the audience members submit maybe like that first image, and then we could give them ideas about how they could really just tweak it and enhance it, and what we could do. But I think that might be a great topic for a future show. I
Yeah.
think it'd be a
I
wonderful
think
idea.
it would be a great idea. Absolutely.
Yeah, we'll just
There's
go
a
ahead and
question
One,
out there
get that first
that
image. Then.
is asking
We'll do
how
Scott's
dark.
first image. Then.
Yeah. There's some questions out there about dark versus gray versus white as far as background is concerned. How dark do you go? How light do you go in the
Mm-hmm.
background?
well, that's all in the histogram.
It
The,
is.
the ends of your histogram. If you guys don't understand, I know that everybody that's in the video chat understands the histogram, but for the people that are anybody that's in the chat, if you don't understand what a histogram is, do a YouTube search on a histogram, because it's just like with any other kind of photography. I do landscape photography, I do portraits, and so on and so forth, and that is also something I would recommend people do is to play around with some of the software that's available from Adobe, right? Get a subscription to Photoshop and more importantly Lightroom. Lightroom is a lot easier to use than Photoshop.
Lightroom is a
right?
heck of a lot easier.
Yeah, and play around with it. Take your
it's only
images
$10.
in there and learn how to use it. Right?
Yeah.
But what I was getting at is that it's really important to understand where the histogram is that you can, if you go really really far to your left in the histogram, that's all black. If you go all the way to the right in the histogram, that's all white. Everything in between there is your color image, because everything between the black and the white, all that in there, that's all color.
Yeah.
That's all your colored light, right? So what you want to do is you want to avoid clipping, where you're lost data. That is more prevalent in the right-hand side of the histogram with the white where you're adding too much. If you go too far to the right, you get into a problem with clipping, where you just lose the data. It's just gone, and you can't retrieve it. Now, with the other side, especially with some of the new cameras that are out there, my Nikon 850s are amazing at pulling things out of what looks like a completely black image, and I can pull detail out of blacks that, you go back 10 years, there's no way you could do that. And that's just due to, increases in technology and the better sensors and so on and so forth. But the histogram, that's your image. Don't ever rely on the little LCD, to tell you if that image is accurate. That's crap. Don't do that. Look at the histogram. The histogram is that is your true tell.
Yeah.
You always want to go by that histogram.
Yeah, and Scott, isn't the LCD, that's just a JPEG, right? That's an 8-bit JPEG.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I shoot my cameras. I just shoot everything in RAW. But I never rely on the LCD screen to tell me if the image is exposed correctly, because it lies to me all the time. It lies to me all the time. I always look at my histogram and say, okay, where is my image in that histogram? And I've learned how to use it so that I know, even if the LCD picture doesn't look right, I know if that histogram looks good, when I pull it into my computer and pull it up into Lightroom, it's going to look good, even before I apply my filters.
Sean said, "What's a histogram?"
Yeah.
Of course he did.
So you know what? What I could do is I could show really quick. We're all talking histograms, and everyone's trying to visualize this and what it is. So I'm gonna pull this up on the screen real quick, and if I can, why is this? There we go. And let me just get the desktop capture up. And here's PixInsight.
There you go.
Okay.
Yep.
So this is and don't make fun of the picture. I just picked something out. So
Right.
this is one minute shot of Markarian's chain. It's just a raw sub, no calibration, no
Right.
nothing. But let's talk about histogram. When you go into a picture, your picture may be looking black like this. You could do a real quickie, which is called the screen transfer function. You get that through process, all processes, and screen transfer function. And you can do the little radioactive guy, and there you go. You got a fake stretch. Now that's a fake stretch. You're not you're not in a place where you could kind of do anything feasible to the picture yet. But if you want to do a histogram transformation, you want to do this in an unstretched mode. So you want the screen transfer off, so it looks black. Then what you do is you're going to go into, and I got it saved over here actually. My screen's a little small, so let's put this over here. And the histogram you get again through process, all processes, and histogram transformation.
Yep.
And I'll just pop it open, and here is what a histogram looks like.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So now what it's showing you is that your peak is all the way near your black point. That's why everything's black.
Yep. All the way to the left.
So with this, you can do a couple of things. Okay. The first thing you want to do is you want to track your picture. So that makes whatever you're looking at, that's what the histogram is looking at. That's the first thing you want to do. Now this little circle over here is the real-time preview button. So you can, without applying anything, the application is your square box. Without applying it, you can see what it looks like before you start applying it. Okay, so you got a preview. So whatever changes that I make now is going to start showing up in its preview. And when I got it right, I hit apply. And that will change the picture. And then you're ready to move on with your processing. So the way I do it, I look at anywhere between 10 to 15% gray. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I like. I don't like it too black because to me, if I'm thinking about space isn't always black, especially in New York. It's a little bit of a gray. So what I do is I'm going to take the midtones and I'm going to push it all the way to almost the start of the end of the curve. So I'm going to bring this on over. And I'm going to bring it on over and you'll start to see it getting brighter.
Yep.
All right?
Yep.
Okay. Now you can zoom in on the histogram by using these buttons up here, or you can simply use your scroll wheel. And you can zoom in on your histogram. Now, how do you get 10 to 15% gray, Dan? How do you do that? How do you know? If you just go in the real-time preview and hit your left button, it'll show you the percentages of how bright it is. So right now I'm at 40% gray on the red, almost 39, 39, 39. And that's where I'm at. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to push the black up a little bit, get it a little blacker, get it a little grayer. Now, what Scott was saying with the clipping, okay?
Yep.
What clipping is meaning you're moving these sliders into your peak, which means you're not deleting, but you're taking pixels out of the equation, which you don't want to do. You're losing data. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push this all the way.
Clipping data.
I'm going to push this all the way to when I can, and you'll see this. You'll see this number start to change as I get closer. So watch what happens. Look, now that number on the left is how many pixels I'm clipping, and a percentage of the entire thing. So as I move into the peak, it clips and clips more and more.
Yep.
We don't want to do that. So I would say anything under 1,000 pixels is fine, considering you're dealing with millions of pixels.
Right.
And then you're going to bring this over a little bit, and I'm going to keep on playing with this. I'm at 23% right now. So I'm going to bring it back a little bit. 19, maybe bring the black a little bit so I'm not clipping too much. Back at 22 again. Bring it down a little bit. 20, and I would bring it totally down to when I'm about, that's 13.
That's 13. Yep.
Okay. So that's about where it would stop. Now what I do at this point, hit apply, close the histogram, close the real-time preview, and there's your picture, and you're ready to continue with your process.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's it.
Yeah.
So you see, I'm at the K level. I'm at 12, 13, 11% gray. And that's it.
Yeah,
That's what
this is the principle. These are the basic principles in imaging, you know, and understanding the limits of your image and what you can do with your image it's vital to this whole process. You know, I think that there's a tendency in our society for people, they want a microwave, you know, approach to everything. If they can't have it in 30 seconds, they're not interested in it. You can't do that in astrophotography. It is impossible. You cannot do that. All right. It's going to take some time to learn. And if you commit yourself to learning the basic principles, you're going to have a whole heck of a lot more fun with this.
Yep.
Yeah.
Guaranteed. And that goes not just for astrophotography, that goes for any kind of imaging.
Yeah. And go check out Visible Dark. Sean, my buddy over there. Check him out because he's got awesome tutorials on his, not only on his YouTube page, check him out at, you know, on his website, visibledark.ca. And check out Masters of PixInsight, you know, all those guys too, mastersofpixinsight.com. Great tutorials on there, and they're starting to pump their YouTube as well. So check out both of them.
Yep.
Awesome. And don't forget our friend Adam Block as well.
Oh, yes.
Don't forget him.
You can't forget him too.
I mean, all of them have been on the show multiple times. So,
and as far as I'm concerned, they are all, you know, I'm a Star Wars guy, so these are all the Jedi Masters. These are all the Masters, truly.
Yeah, they are.
You know, so you can't go wrong with watching these guys.
You know, with Pete, you know, to kind of, you know, give kudos and shout out to not just Pete. Pete has helped me a great deal. All of you guys have helped me, and I think that is one of the main thrusts, if you will, the main drives of what we're about. You know, is helping people to get, you know, the most bang for their buck. You know, and figuring out, you know, what we want to do, how we want to do it, and do we have the budget for it? And don't lie to ourselves about what we're going to throw at it as far as money, what we're going to throw at it as far as time, you know. But that if you are committed to it, you know, I know that the people in this group are willing to help you to put together a rig, you know, based on what budget, you know, range you have. But you can't lie to yourself about budget. You just can't. You're not going to get the kind of imaging that we're talking about here with a $600 setup. It isn't going to happen. Yeah. You spend more than that on a camera.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but you also don't have to spend $30 or $40 or $50,000 either. You can do it for less than $10,000. You can do it for less than $5,000.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, Pete.
Eric, do me a favor. Put that photograph back up that you posted there, because getting back to the histogram, this actually adds to what we're discussing here, which is very interesting. In that, as you get very skilled at honing your skill set, what we do now is we can look at the stars. You can always see stars. You know, once again, we've got white stars, blue stars, and red stars. But when we look at the photograph that we're looking at, sometimes we have to say, okay, what's most important? Do I want to maintain my star colors, or is it more about the nebulosity that I want to bring out? What I also like about this photograph, Eric, is you've kept some good color in the stars. You've had to oversaturate some of the other stars to be able to pull out the nebulosity, but you didn't oversaturate them enough that you've still got the red stars, which is very good, and you still have some blue stars. Some people, they really pull it to the point where sometimes you have to have oversaturated stars, right? You just have to say, screw it. What's more important? Is it more important to get the nebula, or am I just trying to get the star color? So this would be something that really we could kind of do a whole series on, just looking at photographs and what makes a photograph pleasing, and how we can maybe look at it and helping other people just kind of hone their skill set. I think that's definitely something we can do.
That's awesome.
Totally. No, thank you.
That's some good stuff, man. I mean, this show has just been completely awesome. And, you know.
Oh, it is. I mean, as you said, Scott said it best. It's the ability that there's people that are masters at this, but they're willing to help other people. And so maybe we are that next generation that has to help the next group that's just getting into this hobby, because this
Yeah.
hobby really thrives on just having people coming into it.
Yeah.
And you're right, Scott, you're right. There's just no one quick microwave quick fix. You have to take the time to learn and to hone your skill set, regardless if it's data capture, stacking, and also post processing. And as you're saying, most people seem to kind of have the weakness in the post processing aspect. But
Yeah.
give it time, you'll definitely actually work, and you'll hone that skill set.
Yep.
Masters
Absolutely.
of Pix Insight. Masters of Pix Insight. $35 per lesson. And it's yours forever.
Yeah. Great references,
You
you know,
can't
visual
beat that.
dark. You can't.
No, I mean,
You know, there's a lot
so
of
many
times
people
where
out there.
that Sean just put out his latest tutorials,
Yep.
his 2021 version, and I haven't had a chance to get those yet. I did get
great.
last year's, but I know they're going to be fantastic.
Yep.
But even if if you're not there just yet and you're just getting your feet wet, there are so many, you can look at his other videos. Adam Block has his own shows and his own setup as well, but he also, takes his time to also put things out there on YouTube.
Yep.
To help people for free as well. So the tools are out there. The resources are out there. And that's what I love about this community is that you can have people out here that go out of their way to help you. It's not always about them. It's about making us all better.
Yep.
Okay. Because we are a very niche, and very small community, because as to Pete, to your point, these optics guys and these camera guys, they're going to make cameras and optics for us, but that's not their bread and butter, but what we do for, as far as AP, it's not their bread and butter. They're more on the larger side, looking at, photography and stuff like that. So we are a very small niche. So, when you have a small group of people like this, we all kind of, stick together, and we all have this kind of love for this type of stuff. So we're all going to help each other out. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so
Eric,
Pete. Sorry, go ahead.
Eric,
you had a question.
Eric, the book that you just showed, the Deep Sky Imaging Primer, the second half of that book talks about post-processing.
Yep.
It gives
Yes,
you
it
the
does.
insight to start and get into Pix Insight, and also
it gets into
Photoshop.
Pix Insight right there.
Exactly.
Right there.
And it talks about what the histogram is. So that's another value of this book, is that the first half of the book talks about all the mechanics of the equipment, talks about what is image scale, what's astigmatism, what is chroma. And then the second half of that book literally talks about the post-processing techniques.
Post-processing, noise reduction, all that. Because one thing that kills me about noise reduction, it's when they do it too much and it starts to look plastic.
Yeah, man. You screw up the background and you screw up the stars.
And you know what? That is not limited. That problem is not limited to astrophotography. I see portrait photographers that do that with people, where their subjects, their individual, the people start to look plastic. I'm like, what are you doing?
It's not the surgery that they had.
That's almost like the picture you have with the C-14.
Oh, you mean
you look like you're
with his socks on, and he's like,
dude, he's got like the cartoon thing going on.
He's kind of like
come on! I love that picture. That's
he's almost like he's got his knee up, kind of like Captain, like Captain Morgan type.
Yeah, like,
Captain America, Captain Telescope.
Dude, he's like, it's very artistic, Scott.
Yes. Thank you.
Very artistic.
Scott's
going to show it. You'll see. I'm gonna make a full screen for him. So.
I don't know if I've got that one. I don't know if I've got that one. I've got this one. Can you see that?
No, not that one. That's not the good one.
You got a license to drive that thing, Scott?
That one? Yeah.
Not that one.
See,
all right. I'm gonna get it.
Yeah, but you see that you got.
Does the grass look that good? or is that just
No, it
oversaturated?
doesn't.
No,
That's
that's
oversaturation.
oversaturated.
That's
That's
oversaturated.
I mean,
look at the red on the
the red
ZWO
smoke.
camera. Look at the red. It's like
It's not
blown
that
out.
red. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, that one is definitely an option, an object of oversaturation. But if you look at where is it? This one.
What's that artifact I see? What's that artifact back there? Right, you see the tree on the far right. I see a red. Is that an
You see
artifact?
it's sort of red, yeah.
Yeah.
What, back in here?
No,
on the other side.
You see the
On the
Over
opposite
here?
side. That's up there. Yeah, up there at that toward that tree, that red dot. What is that? That's an
Oh,
artifact?
that's a mailbox. Yeah, no,
Yeah, what is that there?
that's a mailbox. But you see, that one's more accurate.
There
Yeah.
we go. Yeah. Jesus Christ, that looks like
You
the
see?
Mars rover, man, with all those wheels,
Doesn't it?
Looks
Telling
like it should be
Doesn't
on
it?
Mars.
But yet now you see, for those that are looking to do a scope, this did not come out of my brain. Part of it did, but a lot of this build is a combination of multiple minds on this project. You know, the ideas came from several different people, and it resulted in this setup. You know, and what's really wild is that the goal that I wanted for this setup was to be able to, from the back of my Jeep, everything packed up in the back of my Jeep. I backed the Jeep onto the grass, and from the moment I opened the back hatch to the point where I'm actually ready to polar align that scope, I can get that scope set up in 20 minutes.
Is it all remote control? Like you just put like a ramp like that at the back of your Jeep and then you just roll
No,
it down?
that everything is modular.
You just drive it across the pasture or wherever it is.
Nope.
That's funny.
Everything is modular. The rover part, the wheelie bar, the JMI wheelie bar, that thing fits inside of the back of my Jeep. The Lasmondi tripod folds up and fits into a canvas bag. Everything else has its own cases. And I can get that entire C14 setup in the back of my Jeep and get it set up. I clocked it. I'm not exaggerating. I actually put a stopwatch on it. And I got it done in just under 20 minutes.
Wow.
So people that say you can't do a C11 remotely, I disagree completely.
Yeah.
Well, Tell me that in 10 years.
It's just when you have that. It's just when you have that wheelie bar, it looks like it should have some serious suspension on it or something, because it can go all the way. You can go like ATV-ing on that sucker.
Yeah.
Hey Dan, it looks
Yeah,
like
I'm looking for that picture that
I can't find it. I don't know where it is.
Well, there's this one. I can show you this one. Here, hold on.
Where? Yeah, I just want to say. I want to see. Yeah, I want to see you in your Captain Morgan get up.
Yeah, man.
when the socks.
Oh, and the Captain Morgan one.
Yeah. In your socks.
That's
the one I'm talking about, man.
There's this one here. Hold on. Let me see if I can open that up. Can I open that up? Yeah, I can open that up. Share screen.
Waiting, loading.
Hold on.
Loading. That's it. That's the one.
There it is.
That's the one.
There it is.
That's
there it is.
That's Captain Morgan.
Dude, look at the blush. Look at the blush on his face.
Yeah.
Hey.
Wow.
I don't always drink Dos Equis, but when I do.
Oh,
yeah.
Man.
I love that picture.
I'm not Antonio Banderas.
That is the Captain Morgan look, no question about it.
Totally.
He is the richest man.
All you have to do is put your foot on the scope.
Oh man,
Scott Cole, he is
want
the
to
most
talk
interesting
about
man in
Captain Morgan.
astrophotography.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Now you've started it.
I've got one to see. You've never seen this one. You've never seen this one. You're gonna be
G-rated, Scott. G-rated.
Yeah, really, Scott.
No. This is.
I got a Shark Boy around here somewhere. Come on now.
This is. If I can find it, I don't even know if I can find it. This is me at the Renaissance Fair.
Oh no.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, you have no idea.
Okay.
Please tell me you're not dressed like your avatar. Please.
No,
Oh my
no.
No.
But it's completely
Or-
over the
Robin
top.
Hood look.
Or are we going more like Mel Brooks, Men in Tights?
Nice.
No, it wasn't. It's not that bad. It's not that bad, but it is a ways back. I don't even know if I can find it, to be
The
honest.
village idiot look.
No, it's definitely Captain Morgan. I've got the boots and everything. I mean, you can't even believe it. I don't even know if I can find it. There it is. There it is. I got it.
Oh no.
I got it. Wait a minute. Oh, you're gonna love this. You're gonna love this.
Everybody's saying, Beatrice saying you should frame that picture. AZ Astro. I don't always do astronomy. When I do, I'm serious about
it. Scott's giggling like a little whatever. Scott's got a giggle going.
Oh,
all right.
See if I can actually. I'm trying to get it to send it over. I don't know if it's going to.
No, just put it on the screen.
Okay.
No, it's on my phone.
Put up the phone and see.
Here, hold on.
Put the phone to the screen.
Yeah, here, I got it right here. Hold on. If I can get it to come up. There we go.
We just lost 6 viewers. Oh my God.
Holy cow.
I
My
love
name
the
is
stash.
My name is Inigo Montoya.
You killed my father.
Look at those boots.
Dude, that's hot. That's hot.
So okay, no. This is that is D'Artagnan. That is D'Artagnan's ad.
Yeah.
Right there.
Oh, I told you. I was
D'Artagnan. Yeah.
That is D'Artagnan's ad right there.
There you go.
He is the fifth musketeer.
Right. So moving on.
Yes.
Lydell Nunn was on, and I don't know if you know who Lydell is.
He was on.
Yeah, Lydell was on, and he is actually, I've seen him on quite a number of the Masters of Pix Insight shows, and he said, don't forget about RBA's book. Don't forget that.
Absolutely.
You know, Mastering Pix Insight, awesome. He either looks like Prince or Puss in Boots.
Excellent.
Everyone's saying prepare to die.
That's exactly right.
That's it.
So
yep.
Yeah, so
that's it.
I love my Renaissance fairs, man.
Inigo Montoya.
Yeah.
My name is Tony Montana.
Sorry,
That's a
Did
wrong
you check the mustache in that photo?
That mustache is great.
I swear to God.
All the way down.
That's it. Just do the twist. Just do the mustache twist. You know?
That is
Dick Dastardly or something.
Dick Dastardly.
Yeah, no, I've actually, I got a makeup guy that's going to make me one out of real hair that is going to twist all the way up into a big handlebar. Yeah.
I mean, I wish I could show you the graph of the viewership that as soon as Scott showed that picture, it like tanked. Everybody just turned off.
Oh, that's funny.
But
That's funny.
no, listen. That's an awesome picture. That's good stuff.
That is good.
We're just having some good fun.
Thank you for that, man. That bring a little bit of life into the conversation.
Scott, I have a request. At the next star party, you got to get that get up and you got to pull your rig out. The rig out and that get
awesome.
up. I tell you what, you'll be the hit. People will be coming around watching everything.
I got to tell you that the coat alone weighs almost 12 pounds.
Wow.
The coat alone.
Jeez. I hope that was like fall.
Heavy,
it wasn't like summer.
Embroidered. Wow. It's heavy embroidered. Yeah, that coat was $600.
Wow.
Jeez.
Moly. You really get into it, don't you?
He gets into it.
The boots were 12.
So you know what? Halloween's only 6 weeks away, right?
Yeah, man. I got something ready to go for Halloween. I'm so psyched.
Let's save that. Then fine. Then we'll have a Halloween special show. How about we do that? We'll have
I haven't been so excited about a Halloween in like probably since I was a kid. I got all this stuff going on.
Nice.
This is what we do there. On Halloween, we get people to get like the Skull Nebula. You know, the real like the the ghosts of Cassiopeia, and we'll evaluate those images. Okay, everybody should get something that's an image that's related to Halloween.
Sure.
Yeah, there you go. Like it. Yeah, the witch head.
Yeah, we got to get Simon to send us a tarantula.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
That'd be awesome.
Again, I think you got something for Halloween.
Oh, I not only do I have like the costume going, but I also have a picture set up ready to go with the costume. So it's gonna be pretty cool. I don't know if I'll be able to do it live. I think it is hot as a mother in this room as it is, and to be dressed up. I mean, I walk out of this room after the show with a massive case of, I don't even want to say it is, but it's just bad. And I got to walk out and like sit in front of the air conditioner for like literally like 15 minutes.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hey. Sometimes we are slaves to our craft, man.
We are.
Yep.
Sometimes we are.
Sean's got to run. It's been 2 hours anyway.
It's been 2 hours. So we've gone from ESPN down to Renaissance Fair. I think we're good.
Yeah. You know, it's kind of like what was that? What is it? The guys in the was it the Muppet Show? The angry old men at the top.
Yeah. The hecklers.
Where they go from bravo to boo in about 15 seconds.
Yeah.
That's about right.
But
that's about right.
Hey,
super.
But we're
guys, I'm actually gonna call it myself.
Hey, don't forget,
it's homecoming weekend, and I gotta go pick up my daughter from the football stadium.
Yep.
Well, just on a sci-fi section, don't forget Foundation coming up, Dune coming up. So much cool stuff in sci-fi on TV is coming up. So I'm super excited about that.
A lot of fun stuff.
Yes.
And if you're into lower decks. What was that?
It's been an absolute pleasure. Absolutely, it's been an absolute pleasure. I'm going to come on more often. Absolutely, if you guys will have me.
Oh yeah, we'd love to have you, Pete.
No, absolutely. Pete, you're now disinvited forever coming on the show again.
Yeah, wearing that hat.
I just got to come up with an outfit that'll actually be my Renaissance outfit.
You're going to be disinvited like I was to my own cousin's wedding. So.
Jeez.
No, absolutely, yeah. So listen. I mean, we'll talk offline and we'll figure, how often you want to come on. You're more than welcome. Like I said, we have 4 spots available and I'm able to host 4. So,
absolutely. No, absolutely. I enjoy this. This is so much fun because you know what? This is a good venue that I got a feeling you're going to get a lot of people coming in. They're going to ask questions. It's kind of like Q&A, but at the same time, everybody just enjoys the banter and they enjoy the laughs.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Great media.
Yeah.
Great media.
We have a lot of fun.
Great.
Yeah,
Thank you. Yeah. And again, I'm going to do a quick plug if Dan, if you don't mind, if I do a quick plug here don't forget, if you do have questions that we haven't hit on, definitely, if you want to bring up the emails or anything like that, you can hit us up.
I'll bring them up, but I think Scott and Pete are going to be words on their face, and I'll put it up.
So definitely hit us up at, info@astroworldweb.com, or even myself, Eric at astroworldweb, Dan, Scott, all of us, at astroworldweb.com. Send us whatever questions you have and we'll do our best to answer them. Because myself, I'm a Schmidt guy. I've become a Schmidt guy. Scott's, he's a Schmidt guy. You guys.
What a change. Oh, my God.
I know.
It's like going to the dark side. You go from Mr. William Optics to like.
I know. Back to Celestra. I'm going back to the roots where things began. But no, real seriously, hit us up if you guys have any questions. We'll be more than happy to even answer them on the show. So
yeah,
I think we even answer my show.
Bring it on. Oh wait. Somebody. I AZ Astro called me out on what I was talking about, and his messages have been blocked for that. That's why I didn't say it. But when you walk out of a sweaty area, what you end up with, he picked it out. So use your own
imagination. Exactly.
Yeah, so again, like Eric was saying, anybody that's on the AstroWorld team, and you know what, Pete, I'm more happy to put you on the list as well. We all have email addresses with our first name at astroworldweb.com. Sure. So Dan, Eric, Scott, Tyler, Tegan, Simon,
Yep.
Am I missing somebody? No, I think I got
Jason.
Jason. Jesus, I forgot Jason. He's been
Yeah,
on
Jason.
Jason.
Don't forget Jason.
And soon to be Peter.
Yep.
so
Absolutely.
and maybe we'll have Dr. Dan. You know,
I would love to have Dr. Dan on. He would be awesome to have come on sometime. I mean, I watch his videos a lot, so you know.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'll get Dr. Dan on, and I'll invite a couple more people that we can definitely do. I'll get Christian to come on. I'll talk to him. I'll even reach out to Charles Bracken. I'll say, Charles, you know what? I need a favor of you. Can you help me out? And I think we get Charles Bracken on. I know that he would definitely be very receptive.
Yeah,
So,
I mean,
that would be awesome.
And stuff.
You know, we have a list of. I mean, we got Ivanov from APT coming on. We have Warren Keller in November coming on. I am working on something in December. And then Pete, you and I were talking about moving forward, January, February, March. So I mean, there's a lot of stuff in the works, and it's just getting bigger, and I'm loving it. I'm getting so excited.
Yeah, I'm geeked. I'm geeked out for it.
Oh, wait! Wait till you see the new rendition coming out. So this is a sneak preview because nobody knows about this, and it has really nothing to do with astrophotography, but I'm gonna throw a plug anyway. My cousin Mike and myself, we're going to be doing the Sci-Fi Tangent Show. And we're going to be doing literally like a Siskel and Ebert type thing, just reviewing movies from way back when.
Mystery 3000?
It's not going to be like that.
It's going to be Mystery Science Theater 3000.
It's going to be funny like that. But the way he looks and the way that I look, he's like Motorhead with the beard, the ZZ Top beard, and then you got me. So it's like
it looks like that's Borat.
It's Borat
or Pennywise, depending.
But anyway, But that's coming up soon. We're getting together tomorrow to iron out the details. But
cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Well, I tell you what, seriously, Dan, what I'll do is I'll send you an email here over the weekend, if not on Monday.
Sure.
And definitely count me in. Absolutely. I enjoyed this. Absolutely. Count me in on it. And I've got some ideas on what we might be able to talk about and throw some stuff out. But I think Eric and Scott and everybody be kind of receptive to it. But count me in on it.
You bet.
Thank you, Scott. You were the one that asked. You were the one that kind of was the catalyst on it. So I got to thank you, Scott.
Yep.
Well, you're very welcome, Pete. I knew it was going to be a good chemical mix. I didn't doubt that for a second. So
awesome.
Hey, cool. Coming soon, guys. Just a quick plug on Astro for Eric. It's coming.
Oh yeah.
It is coming. So it's I'm looking forward to it. So it's going to start getting into the works. For because being one of the experience officers, when in the first round, they were nice enough, to let me get this early. So, but I just have to do, a few videos and stuff like that and how-tos. So they are coming, so I'm going to be hitting it on this with my Celestron mount, with my Ioptrons and all that stuff. So, because I know a lot of people on Astro for Eric have been asking about it. So it's coming.
All right.
Well, you can check me out at Astro Playground on YouTube.
And you can get to anybody's link on any YouTube channel that's involved with the AstroWorld. Eric, Jason, the Lazy Astronomer, Scott over at Astro Playground, Astro with Eric. I'm missing some other one. I'm missing Tegan's.
Tegan has one.
Rocky Mountain Astro.
Rocky Mountain Astro. And I'm missing one. And Astro for Dummies, Tyler. All of them, you could get a link right from AstroWorld TV, and it goes right to their channel if you're too lazy to kind of search for them. So, so you go to AstroWorld TV, and they're right at the top. All the contributors to AstroWorld are there. So,
there it is.
There it is.
Awesome.
Guys. Thanks again, Pete.
Thank you, Pete, for joining us, man. Really appreciate it. It's been a blast.
Definitely. I appreciate it. Have a good weekend,
guys. Guys, have a good night on AstroWorld. Remember, and as always, keep imaging, keep educating, and clear skies. And we'll see you on Wednesday night for the next rendition of AstroWorld TV. Have a good night, guys.
Bye. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Bye-bye.